Hello, hello, Sarah of SEK Handmade here. I apologize. I'm a little behind. I forgot how hard it is to get children to bed and get here on time. I am so excited to be here, though. I am thrilled to be joined by Lanre of La'Knits Apparel. I have had the joy of, I hope she'll agree, befriending her over the last few years on social media and even testing for her, which was so much fun. She has just gorgeous designs. So I can't wait to introduce you to my beautiful friend so that you can learn more about her and her amazing designs. As always, check out the description below for all of her links so that you can check out all of the amazing, gorgeous things she has going on. Hello.
Hello.
How are
I'm
you
doing,
doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good, good. Thank you for
Like
having
with
me on.
technology, it's always a question, right?
I know. Awesome.
Well, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I mean, it's Friday, right? What's there to complain about? TGIF. So yeah, I'm happy it's Friday because this week was kind of heavy. So
Was it?
yeah, it was like in my day job. So I was looking forward to this to kind of like, end the week on the right note.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Well, I'm so
yeah.
glad you're here and that you
Thank
agreed to
you.
talk to me.
Thank
Um,
you.
I have to confess, I do these things a little selfishly just because I like to talk to you guys. So thank you for joining me. I
Absolutely.
cannot wait. The other thing I love about these is no matter how well I know the person that I bring on, I always learn something new.
Right.
So I'm super excited to see what fun new things I learned about
Yeah,
you tonight.
yeah.
So yay.
Awesome.
So why don't you start off just by introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to share, like where you grew up, what your day job is, your family. No pressure for any of that specifically, but
Right.
anything you want to share about yourself.
Awesome. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. This is my first time, so bear with me. Well, I've done Instagram lives before, but this is the first for YouTube live. So, hello everybody. My name is Lanre of La'Knits Apparel, and I live in Southern Ontario, Canada, with my husband and two children. I have a 5-year-old, sorry, yeah, 5-year-old son Joshua, and a 7-year-old daughter Jada. And we live in just outside of the Greater Toronto area in Ontario, and we've been in this area now for about 4 years as of next month. Um, for my day job, I actually work as an account manager for a large beverage company. So I am into sales. When I'm not knitting, I'm a salesperson. Um, and yeah, so it's what do I like outside of knitting? I like to just relax, quality time with family, basically watch a movie, cuddle with my little ones and my husband, and just take life slowly. I'm a homebody, so any chance to be at home, you're gonna find me there.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So,
Have you seen any good movies with your kids lately?
Christmas time, the Christmas classics. So yeah, we just rewatch. While my 5-year-old is still kind of little, he doesn't sit through a whole movie. 15 to 20 minutes into it's like, okay, can we watch something else? So we'd rather short episodes of cartoons and stuff as opposed
Mhm.
to
My, oh gosh, 10-year-old, he just turned 10. My 10-year-old just asked tonight, "Can we go to the movie theater and see a movie?" And I
wow.
was like, "Sir, you barely watch an entire movie sitting at home. I don't know that I'm ready to pay $15 for you to not want to sit through an
Yeah, you'll
entire
be making
movie."
trips to the washroom often.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
I love it. So
yeah.
fun. Did you grow up in the same area that you live in currently?
Actually, no. I was born in Nigeria. Yes. So West Africa in Nigeria. And we moved to Canada when I was in my teenage years. So I did high school there. I was well ahead. But then when we came to Canada, it's based on age, right? So I kind of had to do high school here all over again, which was a breeze because I had done it back home in Nigeria. But yeah, so ever since we moved here in my teenage years, I've been in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, for most of
Wow,
my
what a
adult life.
big change to undertake as a teenager, though.
Well, yeah,
Like, your whole life is your friends as a teenager. So to move
right.
to a completely different country in your teenage years, was that hard or did you find it easy to
Well,
adjust?
we all came, like my parents and my siblings, we all came together. So I guess that really helped. But I mean, I adapt to change pretty quickly. So it wasn't that hard of a change for me. Yeah, I guess it was helpful that the whole family came together
Mhm.
as opposed to myself. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah.
And that's a big difference between you and me. I do not adapt well to change.
Oh,
That would have been very hard for me, especially as a teenager, to
oh
move like that. So that's
yeah,
awesome. I
yeah.
wish I was more flexible. So I
Yeah.
envy your
Oh,
flexibility.
it's just having coping mechanisms, I guess. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. So tell us about your crafting history. How did you learn? And yeah, how did you learn? I was gonna say, who did you learn from? But if it was like some lady at Joann's, that's maybe not as exciting as like,
No. So actually,
which is
when I
where
was
I
in
learned.
when I was in high school in Nigeria, so I had a group of friends. I don't even remember who they are, but I remember learning as a group. So I basically picked up knitting within the group. So like during lunch breaks or after school, we do like a few minutes or a couple hours of knitting. So that's where really I picked it up. But I didn't continue at home. So it was whatever I did at school, but I didn't continue at home and I didn't really pick it up until way like so many years later when I was pregnant with my daughter was when I really got into it. Was when I really got into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common that a lot of people are either revisit or pick up the craft for the first time when they're pregnant.
Right. Right. Well, I had a rough pregnancy too, my first especially. So I was home for a little bit towards the end of the pregnancy. So
Mm.
I I picked up knitting again and it was like riding a bike. So I got obviously I got into baby blankets. I made a lot of baby blankets and little baby booties and so that kept me busy and kind of kept my mind off the
Mhm.
roughness of the pregnancy. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
that's
It
good.
really,
That's good.
it really
It's nice to have that thing to. I can only imagine if like my main hobby was something like cycling or swimming or
oh
something
yeah,
that when physical difficulty like that struck, it would
right.
be so emotionally upsetting to not be able to lean on the thing that you usually do for comfort. So it's so wonderful that the thing that we do for comfort is something that you can do in so many places and so many situations.
Exactly. That's a very good point. That's a very good point because, well, the only other time you can't do it is when you have a broken finger or you hurt yourself in a way, right? But other
Yeah,
than that, like no matter what the emotion is, if you find enough strength or if you have enough strength to do it, it's absolutely doable.
yeah, yeah. Do you still make things for your daughter or is she like, no?
Actually, yes. They they love, like including my husband, we all love to wear lanyards.
That's awesome.
And my kids' school, they know when they see my kids are like, "Yup." Yeah, they like we have pretty harsh winters here in Southern Ontario.
Mhm.
So talk about hats, mittens, scarves. They're fully decked out. Absolutely.
I love it. That's wonderful. My sons like the idea of a hat made by me, but then I make them a hat and they always go back to the store-bought hat. So
Oh yeah, no.
I
We
just
wear
make for
Lanre
myself.
here. It's all Lanre.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
okay. Do you also crochet?
I do.
I thought so. I was
Yeah.
like, gosh, am I getting
That
that wrong?
that I picked up in Canada. So that was a skill that I kind of like added on years later before I got married. But I think maybe in my university years was when I picked that up through YouTube. So it was nice that I picked that up because I have that flexibility depending on the project. I can either do knit or crochet.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to change back and forth.
Right,
Was
right.
there something in particular that spurred you to learn crochet too, or you just decided to do it one day?
I think I just decided to do it. Because it's well, back then, now there's so many textures you can get from crochet that you could even make it look like a knit project.
Mhm.
Um, but when I started back then, I sound like I'm very old, but I'm not.
In the day.
But I'm really not. Um, I liked the texture of double crochet.
Mm.
Yeah, with the look of double crochet. So I just kind of picked that up. I would do hats or blankets with that. It works out faster too, I found,
Yes.
right?
I
For
totally agree.
for
Yes.
bigger
Yep.
blanket projects, it worked out faster for me anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. When you knit, you can only get so much height out of, generally speaking, out of knit stitches. But when you
Yes,
crochet, man, you can make those things tall,
exactly. So you're like, yes, 30 rows. I
right?
could see what I did, but knitting
Every
sometimes
row's a
30
half
rows,
an
you're
inch
like,
tall.
exactly, exactly. Unless you're doing like single crochet, is that what it's called? Or slip stitch?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
more like just knitting. Like you just got like little bitty height all.
exactly. But when you're doing the taller stitches, you can whip through a project pretty fast.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. I made a top that alternated a shorter crochet row and then a treble crochet, which is like,
Ooh,
extra, extra tall. And man,
right.
that thing got done like that.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, yes. And then I got into Tunisian crochet. Um, sometime last year, I think. Yes, I got into that because I just wanted to learn it. So I learned it.
Because why not?
And like once you already know how to crochet, it's not hard to Tunisian crochet. I must admit I'm not as versed with the instructions. Like I'd have to go to a video to look up certain things, but I can hold it.
Yeah, yeah. I like to say that Tunisian crochet is like crochet and knitting had a baby. Like it's kind of like
Yeah,
halfway in between. There's some
yeah,
parts of it that are very similar to knitting, and then other parts of it that are, definitely more similar to crocheting.
yeah, yes, yes. Especially with the cable, right? That's the knitting
Yes.
part of it, but then you
Mhm.
work with the hook.
Right. And like you're picking up stitches, so you have a lot of live stitches, which usually in crochet you only have one live stitch.
Yeah.
Um, and then also the fact that because you have those live stitches, you're taking, I don't know if this is going to make sense to anybody, but to me, you're taking action on the row below.
Yes.
What's on your needle, what you're working, or what's on your hook in Tunisian is not what's showing the pattern. It's the row
Hmm.
below that
That's
shows the
right.
pattern.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
like
It's
if you're
what you
making
do with
color
the rope.
changes, you got to do it a row ahead of time because
Yeah. And my favorite is the return pass.
it's so satisfying.
It is just therapeutic. You just whip through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Have you this is going off on a tangent, but I'm just going to go here. Have you ever Tunisian crocheted in the round?
Have I? No, I have not. But A very good friend of mine, one of my maker besties, Morolakwe of the Purple Crochet. She's
She's here.
amazing.
She's
Hey
talking. Do
girl,
you see her in the chat? I don't know.
she
Can you
is
see the chat?
up. No, but
Oh,
I don't
okay.
want to
I
mess
can see the
things up.
chat.
So
She's here chatting with us.
I'm just gonna not touch anything so I don't mess anything up. But she is amazing with Tunisian stuff. So she gifted me a some yarn and hook. So it's on my list of things to do. Tunisian in the round on my list of things.
Tunisian in the round is kind of like knitting in the round because you're really you're building on top of each other. It's just a
Right,
continuous,
right.
and man, it's so satisfying.
And I know that you can only work so many that will fit. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going forward, you work your return pass, you go
Mm-hmm.
forward, you work, yeah, bit by bit
Yeah,
until. So I've
there
watched
there are
videos.
oh yeah, lots of videos.
Yeah.
There's or you let me know. I'll send you a personal video. There are double-ended hooks that are like
Yes,
short,
yes,
or you can actually get cable sets where
right.
you can attach a hook to each end, just like you'd attach a knitting needle to each end.
Yes,
And
yes,
then you can forward pass a whole bunch of stitches and then turn around and return pass a whole bunch
exactly.
of
Yeah.
stitches.
More like we actually sells them too. So
Oh, there you
if
go.
you're interested, you know where to go.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
checking her out for
absolutely.
sure. I love it. I love it. So when did you move and how did you move from making baby blankets and stuff for your kids into making it a business?
Okay, so I was pregnant in 20. When was I pregnant?
When you go to the pediatrician and they're like date of birth and you're like every time I'm like,
I
I
was
swear I had
pregnant.
them but I don't know when they were born.
I was I was pregnant 2014, and it was a rough year. So I would make stuff, and then when my daughter was born 2015, then I really got into hat making and all that stuff. Then I started doing markets, right? And I found some patterns that I bought, like it would say you may knit this but not to sell, right? Or you only for personal use. And I'm like, well, I know I'm only selling it in small quantities. I don't want to do what someone says don't do. So I said, you know what? I might just start making my own. And then I can sell my own,
You can
right?
do whatever you
So
want with that.
exactly, exactly. So then JD Beanie was born out of that, named after my daughter Jada. So that was my very first pattern that kickstarted my designing journey. And it has been a ride ever since then.
So,
Yeah.
okay, first of all, I have to say that your oldest is the same age as my youngest.
Oh,
So,
really?
I should have known when you were pregnant. But how many years was it from picking it back up while you were pregnant to actually designing?
So
Estimate. You don't have
to
to be real
actually
specific.
designing,
Yeah.
gosh, maybe a year,
Okay.
a year or
That's pretty
two,
quick.
a year or two. Yeah. About a year or two, I would say.
That's awesome.
Yeah. About a year or two. And like I mean, to start that process, what I did was I became a tester for someone else just to see what the process was like, right? If you want to do something, then get a little bit of experience in how to do it. Um, and then I just got started. I think you actually tested JD. Did you test JD for me? Or was it Joshy? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. It was the one with the faux cables.
That's Joshy. That
Okay.
was a second pattern named after Joshua, my son.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so fun. So you designed your first pattern and you were just like, yes, this is where it's at. I'm doing more of this.
Yes, exactly. It was so much fun. Like the testing process for me a- will always be one of my favorites because I get to meet so many people, you know. Um, I have a few local maker friends in the area, but like connecting with people all over the world, to me, that's really important, right? So the testing process was fun for me. Getting feedback from people, I find it very, very fun. Some people may not like it because they don't want to hear what other people have to say, but I do. I like it. So, and just really seeing an idea come to life,
Yeah.
that inspires me. Seeing an
Mhm.
idea put down on paper goes through the process and becomes something that someone else actually wants to make. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I have to say my biggest advice to anybody who is in the yarn community and is like, I don't know anybody though. Go do some testing.
Hmm.
Those groups can be, I mean, first of all, you can learn so much.
Exactly.
Um, but it's just such a great sense of community to travel through that process with other
Hmm.
people. So I
Hmm.
totally agree. I have met some just really stellar people. And I
Right.
have met some people through testing, and it had been just kind of a passing testing thing. And then they've come back around. And now I'm like super close with one of the ladies who was like tested my very first crochet pattern
Oh,
ever. And we're
really?
like,
Aw.
oh, we knew each other when.
That is so sweet. I love that, like, and you may never see each other in real life, but you feel
Mhm.
like you know so much about each other.
Yes, yes. Because often,
Mhm.
if you're doing a very small test, that doesn't necessarily last a long time. But if you're doing a bigger test like a shawl or a sweater or
Yeah.
something, you're communicating with these people for
Yeah.
weeks. And so
Yeah.
you kind of get to know each other and find out
Yeah.
what's going on in each other's lives. So it's
Yeah.
neat.
And if you do like one or two or three of those, that's a chunk of time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So do you still participate in markets?
Oh yes, I did a
That's
market
great.
last year. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. People showed up. I live in a little small town. Um, and I think people really like handmade here. They really appreciate handmade. And that has been a true blessing. There was one year that I don't know if I did, the year that COVID really started. I
Mhm.
don't know if I did a market, but I've basically done a market every year since 2019 or 2018. I don't remember, but
That's great, though. That's
yeah,
wonderful that you found people who appreciate your work because you
yeah.
do gorgeous work.
And it means a lot. It really
Hmm.
means a lot that someone actually wants to wear my stuff, it means a lot.
Hmm.
So thank you.
Do you sometimes like stop at the gas station and see somebody like pumping their gas wearing your hat?
I see people walking their kids to school in Lanitz.
That's
Walking their kids to school. And I'm like, I know that.
awesome. I made that hat.
And like teachers at my kids' school actually reaching out saying they would like, you know, Lanitz hats. And I think they all know me there by now. Not all of them, but they know.
I love it. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
talk about Law Knits.
Okay.
Where did the name come from? How did you come up with it? Does it have some wonderful meaning behind it? Or are you like me and it's totally boring?
Well, it's kind of like Lanre knits put together. Lanit. And I thought it'd be cool to have the apostrophe. So Lanit, Lanre knit, Lanit. No
I
huge
love it.
story behind it. It sounds French, but it's not.
Hmm.
Yeah, so no huge story behind it.
Was it hard to come up with your name? Because I feel like some people really struggle with that.
No, no. I think it was one of the first ones that I thought about, and I've stuck with it um ever since. It is different. I mean, you don't see a lot of
Mhm.
brand names with apostrophe.
I love it. That's special. I
Yeah.
like that it's your name and what you love.
Yes. And people think I'm from LA. I'm not from LA. I'm from Canada.
I was just laughing at myself because I thought LA
LA
just in my
knit?
brain. And then we were
No.
talking and you said law and I was like, "Oh my gosh, of course not LA. She's not even in America."
It's Lanre. Yeah.
So, I'm glad I got that straight.
Yeah.
Thank you for sorting me out.
Sorry.
No, absolutely not. You
Yeah.
sort me out. And it makes perfect sense now that I think about it. Of course,
Yeah, Lanre knit.
it's
Yeah.
you and what you do and love.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I love that you had an easy time with that because you had such an easy time naming your business. Do you have an easy time naming your patterns?
Oh, well, I have 2 kids, so the first 2 patterns were named after them, JD and Joshi.
I mean,
I
once you name the first one after one, you kind of
You
have to.
kind of have to, right? I didn't want to keep having babies just to name patterns after them. So now I name my patterns after music. My other passion besides yarn is music. I love to sing. I love music. I love it, love it, love it. Um, so I mean, anything music, harmony, um, instruments, names, or whatever, anything. It could be named after a note. I actually search on Google and like musical terms, and if it has a nice ring to it, and or maybe the texture of the design kind of relates to the word, I would use it. Yeah. So my kids
I
and music.
love it. I love that you have
Yeah.
a theme that makes it it narrows
Yeah.
down the vast choices.
Yes. Yes. I don't think I could ever run out of musical terms. Right? So
That's so wonderful. So
yeah,
do you sing
I do.
anywhere? Do you participate in music in any way in your life other than naming your patterns after it?
I sing at church. Yeah, I do.
That's
Don't
great.
judge. Don't judge my voice
No,
because I'm so tired. Don't
I'm
judge.
sure you
Don't
sing
judge my
beautifully.
speaking voice. Yeah. So I sing in my worship team at church. So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's great. I used to sing at church when we lived in Ohio,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, then pandemic and move, so
I
that's no
know
more.
how that
So
feels.
frankly, I'm a little jealous of your worship team singing.
Sorry. Well, I don't sing as much as I used to. Um, because once the kids came in the picture, then I had to, take a step back a little bit, family
Right.
life. But then I got back into it, but not on the same rigorous schedule like I used to before kids, because
Yes. Yeah,
kids.
those kids, they need attention and food.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
Fantastic. So, what was the last project you've finished up?
Like finished up or like the last design that I published. Anything? Doesn't matter.
Whatever. Both.
Um,
All things.
Let me see. Well, like this is a project, and this is actually upcoming. This is coming soon. This is Chella Chunky. If anybody follows me on Instagram, you would have seen it. It's in testing right now, and can you see it? I think this is my favorite part of the sweater. This is the
Mine
sleeve.
too.
Yes, it's a top-down raglan long sleeve sweater. Um, and it's got the same garter detail at the end. So this is Chella Chunky. It's named after the instrument Chella.
Mhm.
Um, but I decided to make it a little bit more feminine, and I put the H in it. So instead of Cella, it's Chella,
I
for
love it.
feminine touch. So that's that. It's in testing right now, and that's coming in February 17th. This pattern is gonna launch. So I'm actually making another one.
Ooh.
Yes, so it's still in progress. So I haven't finished it yet, but I finished the body. I just need to get to the sleeve.
So pretty.
So yeah, that's
I
that.
love how simple. Okay, if you don't follow Lanre on Instagram, you must. And you must go look. I think you have a picture of you wearing the sweater because I don't know how else I would have seen it.
Was
And
I wearing it? Yes,
the arm,
yes, yes.
it's perfection. I am not a big like voluminous arm person, and that arm is just the right amount of volume, I feel like.
Mhm.
And it comes back in really nicely at your wrist. It's very flattering, and I love that it's like a very simple, clean lined sweater with just like the little detail of the contrasting neck and wrists and oh my gosh, words.
You should be my spokesperson.
Bottom band. Nope, now you're not gonna want me anymore.
I call it the body hem, the hem of the body.
That's what it's
Yes,
called.
yes, that's it. Yes, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
And
I
is
like
that in
simple.
bulky or super bulky yarn?
It's bulky weight yarn. So
Okay.
it's Lion Brand You and Me.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like being stuck on Sleeve Island. So the quicker I can work through it,
Mhm.
the better. So I figure, you know what? Bulky weight yarn as opposed to
Yeah. So
worsted
that's
weight
gonna knit
yarn.
up fast.
Yeah, yeah. So this will probably take me about a day to finish the sleeve. Yeah. So
So pretty. So pretty. So
thank you.
that's what you're working on right
Yeah.
now, and that'll be out in February.
Yes. February 17th.
Fantastic. Do you have any of your hats laying around?
Oh, do you know what? I actually made hats for the whole family. Yes.
You're
Like we
so
don't have
good.
enough. Like we don't have enough hats. So so I made this is Malabrigo Mecha. Is that how you say it? Mecha or Mecha? I don't.
Sure.
But so I made matching for my husband. It was kind of like basket weave. So I didn't weave in the end yet. Don't judge me. So I made that for my husband and son, and then the matching in pink for myself and my daughter. I just need to finish it off.
That's so fun. I
Yes.
love it. So then do you
Thank
you con them into taking pictures with you?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you con them into taking pictures with you in all your matching hats?
All the time. I will do that. My husband will probably need the most work out of me. He doesn't like taking pictures.
It's so much easier to bribe kids with candy
Yeah.
than husbands.
And even if you don't bribe them, they're always photobombing it anyway. So, you know, they don't need much.
Yeah. My boys are always silly though. Like they aren't gonna take like they want to be like,
yeah.
And I'm like, that's lovely.
Yeah. That's my boy. Like, yeah.
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 I love that. Fantastic.
Thank you.
We're all gonna have matching hats. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I better weave in the ends before winter's over. So
I mean, just tuck it up inside. Nobody will ever know.
You know, yes.
So much fun. Is there something you have coming up that you can share with us? Something else?
I do have a swatch.
Ooh.
Let's sneak peek. Oh, that's the reverse. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. So this is for summer. That's all I can say. That's
gorgeous.
And it's going to be in cotton. So this is my first time working up something in, well, a garment in cotton. So stay tuned. That's coming.
That's exciting. Do you always start by swatching?
Yes.
I love it.
First I know the texture that I want to play around with. Then I make up a swatch just to see how it drapes, what it looks like, the feel. And then if I like it, then I say, we're doing it. And if I don't like it, it may just sit.
Do you do that a lot? Do you find that most designs take several swatches, or do you tend to land on one pretty quickly? Or does it, mix it up? Because
I would say
that's my experience.
80% of the time pretty quickly. 20% of the time I may use a different needle size just to bring in the texture a little bit, make it tighter. I actually had to do that for this one. I made two swatches. I didn't like the first one. It was a bigger size needle. And then I made a smaller one. I was like, yes, this is it. It just defined it a little bit better. Yes.
Okay, hold those up one more time.
So I used the recommended needle size on the yarn band for the bigger one. And then I was like, no, like I could see the texture, but and then I went one needle size smaller, and that just brought it in. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it.
I don't, okay, first of all, I think swatching gets a bad rap.
Yes.
And I like that shows the power of swatching so much, because I can see the difference in the stitch definition just in those two swatches. And man, if you had just done that first one and said, well, I think that's okay, and just gone on without trying anything else, you would have missed out on that like amazing pop that second swatch has.
You can see the difference, the same number of cast on stitches. You see the difference in width. That's how much difference it is, like how much it was brought in.
Yes.
Right. And I decided on that needle size. I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. Because I was going to scrap the texture. And I said, wait, let me use a smaller needle size. And then ta-da!
Ta-da, indeed. It's gorgeous. It's such a gorgeous texture. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. So that's for summer. That's coming soon.
I can't wait to see more. That's so exciting. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So exciting. So I'm going to ask you some of your favorites. Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What is your favorite item to design?
Oh, hat. But then
how many hat patterns do you have? Do you know?
17, I think.
I thought you were going to say 7 at first, and I was like, no. 17, I believe.
I think 15 to 17. I can't keep. I should know this, I really should know this.
I don't know.
I should know this, but yeah, quite a bit.
Yes, and each one is gorgeous. Like, I see your hat, and now that I know that I tested your second hat, I really feel like I've been with you from the beginning.
You really have. You have it.
And every time you put out a new hat, I'm like, I do not know how she does it. This is just as beautiful as the last one. Every single one. There has not been a single one that I've been like, that one's okay. Each one, I'm like, gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's because you do all that swatching.
Well, I didn't used to swatch for hats. But then I learned my lesson. So now I swatch.
What do you, okay, is there a story behind that?
It just didn't look right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the more I got into garments and I got into swatching before getting started, I was like, you know what? I might as well just swatch for the hat. Even if it's a yarn that I've been working with, Lion Brand, I if it's a texture that's not that simple, I would swap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if it's a new to me yarn, I would definitely swap.
Yeah. I mean, because that one needle size can make all the difference.
All the difference. Yep. You're right.
All right. What is your favorite place to work?
Oh, anywhere in the house, really. But on the couch in the living room or on my bed. Like, I mean, I have this craft room, but like, I feel like I'd be here by myself. There's no TV in here yet. Um, so, usually just downstairs in the living room with the kids, with my husband. Sometimes he'll be watching soccer. I'll be knitting, and they don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't mind.
Your kids don't know any different.
Oh, they do.
Oh, they do. I was just going to say, that's just life with mom is she's knitting.
Exactly. So I get what you mean. They don't know any different. Like, they know, Mommy, are you knitting again? Yes.
My boys will sometimes say, all mom does is crochet. And I'm like, yeah, all I do. Sure. Forget how much time it takes to take care of you little people.
Whenever we get any delivery, it doesn't matter what it is, we'll be like, yarn.
Mm-hmm.
They know the drill. I'm like, yes, I got you right.
We will get boxes that are like this, and they'll be like, I bet it's yarn. And I'm like, there's no way yarn fits in there. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. I'll be like, if it's yarn, then I'll be like, shh. Yeah.
This is not yarn. I do not know what you're talking about, child.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Do you have a favorite yarn to work with?
Oh, Lion Brand.
You designed a lot of your hats in Color Made Easy, right?
Yes. Correct.
I love Color Made Easy.
I love it. I still have some that I'm holding on to. And
me too. It's right above me.
And I refuse to let go or use it. But I don't know. My dream, I guess, I've never said this anywhere, but my dream is to find a yarn or make one that's very similar to CME. Lion Brand.
We would like to request, and I know you're not alone in that. I know a lot of people who were. I did markets for 1 year, and then we moved.
Right.
And then pandemic. But I caught wool spun right as they were discontinuing it, and I got it. I lived when we lived in Ohio. I lived 2 miles from Joann's home store, like the original Joann's.
Right.
It was started in the town next to the town I lived in.
Oh, wow.
And so they were on top of it there. And so I had them like collect all this wool spun from other stores because it was so cheap. And I was so excited about that because I was making stuff for markets and it was like this really gorgeous yarn with super stitch definition. Right. And then I realized that it was so cheap because it was disappearing.
That's the red flag. When it's so cheap.
Yeah.
You're like,
I learned that so cheap was not exciting. It was actually very sad. And
Mhm.
so then they came out with Color Made Easy, not right away. It was a year or two later. And I
Right.
was like, this is
Yeah.
it wasn't the same fiber content, but it was a
Right.
very similar
Very similar.
shaped yarn, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. It's just a
Mhm.
really nice round yarn. And so and like
I know what you
plump.
mean. I know what you mean.
It makes
Trust me.
great stitch definition.
Yep.
It's like the perfect mix of like smooth and
Yes.
round that,
Yes.
man,
I know exactly what you mean. I could feel Color Made Easy and know it's Color Made
yes.
with my eyes closed.
Yes.
Yes.
So I still have right down here next to me, I
Oh
still
yeah.
have some wool spun that I'm hoarding, and I
Yeah.
still have some Color Made Easy right above me. The same
Yeah.
thing. Like it's got to be just the right project.
Yeah. When Woolspun made it come back last year for a limited time, I grabbed some because, you know, and I still have some.
It's
And
just wonderful.
I
Do you have
know.
a favorite fiber type to work with? Do you prefer acrylic versus wool? Are you gonna
For
fall in love with cotton?
for designing, I mean, okay, for market, right? Um, I found that if I'm gonna use expensive yarn, then I have to charge accordingly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people around here, they're not really gonna dish out that kind of money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I find my sweet spot is 80% acrylic, 20% wool, right? Which is kind of like you and me, the
Mm-hmm.
wool spun, right? Um, or something like CME that's 100% acrylic,
Mm-hmm.
but it holds up pretty well. If
Mm-hmm.
it's 100% acrylic, as long as it doesn't peel over time and it holds up well, I'll do 100% acrylic. But for like, I mean, for special projects like this, I like wool, like
Mm-hmm.
superwash wool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. When you're making for people who you're not like directly connected to, it's really hard to say, thank you for purchasing this lovely hat. And here's a
Right.
whole page on how you need to specially care for it.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
nice for them to just be able to spot clean or toss it in the washing machine. I have
Mhm.
actually washed, I was very nervous about washing something I had made out of wool spun, and I washed it in my washing machine with other clothes and threw it in the dryer.
Right.
And it it looked better when it came out.
Yeah, I do that too. I just make sure that I take off the palm
Hmm.
because I told you
Yeah,
my
don't throw your faux fur pom pom
right?
in the washing machine.
Yeah,
That thing will
my
never dry.
exactly. So the ones that my kids wear, I throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer. It comes out, and I
Yeah,
mean they're wearing it to school, so I mean, you know, and they've worn it. Some they've worn like a couple years, but I make new ones every because why not?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah.
Do you have a favorite needle?
Oh,
Either like, do you prefer a specific brand, or I'm always surprised when people are like, yes, I love a 5 millimeter.
no, I love Addy, the Addy
Yeah.
clip, the metal. Yes, that's my absolute favorite because the way they just cling and clang. But if I'm if I'm working with slippery yarn, then I would use my Takumi bamboo needle.
Mhm.
I think it's called Clover.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah. Then I use those bamboo.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's Addy all the way. Like even for Tunisian, I have Addy and Denise.
Okay.
I always
Mhm.
have to have Addy.
Um, I tend to lean towards wooden hooks
Oh
and
yeah.
needles. I don't know why, but I was making something. I don't even remember what I was making, but I was making it with metal needles, and I was click, 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 click.
Yeah.
My husband was like, "What are you doing over there? And I was like, Sarah,
Sound
I was doing
of,
click, 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 click,
of
click.
art. It's so therapeutic. I find it therapeutic, So yeah, I love metal needles. And they're light, they're not heavy.
Yes, yes. And I'm appreciating them more. I think part of the reason I was first drawn to wood was because it's harder to have your stitches just slip right off. If you're using, I feel like the skill of using a metal needle is maybe a little more advanced because it doesn't grip your stitches quite as much. So it's a little easier to have them just like
It just
slide right
slides
off.
off. It just slides off. So
Yeah, which if you want them to slide off, that's great. But if you don't
yes,
mean to, it can be
you're
very
right.
sad,
You're right.
especially
You're
if
right.
you're a beginner.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
What's your favorite thing to drink while you work?
I'm not really big on. I'll drink water. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. Nope. If I drink something warm, hot chocolate or tea, honey lemon tea with just a tea bag, no milk. So yeah. I'm not big on coffee. I don't like the smell of coffee. I don't like the taste of coffee. I don't do coffee. No.
That's fine. More coffee for me.
People are like, what do you mean you don't like coffee? I don't. They're like, so how do you survive? I just do.
My question is, why do you need coffee to survive? Maybe you should be sleeping more. Seems like a sign to me. I love my coffee, but I don't need my coffee.
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Oh, my favorite color. Well, color or shade. I love neutral.
Sure.
Anything gray.
Okay.
And you can probably tell if you follow me, you know my color palette. Neutrals with a pop of either blush pink or mustard.
I was gonna say, or mustard.
Yes. Mustard always does the trick for me. Yeah.
Yes. You have a very strong color palette. Is that something that's intentional?
Yes. And I had to do that because I was doing markets every year, sometimes 2 or 3 a year. And I quickly had to narrow down my color palette because I was like, when I just started doing markets, I was doing all the colors. And then when it came time to arrange everything on the table, I'm like, what do I put where? Right? And I'm like, okay, so the following year I said, you know what? Stick to a plan, stick to certain colors, and then make a few of different textures and different colors, and and then it got better. I got better at displaying my items, and it looked visually appealing for people to actually want to grab and buy it.
Yes.
So yeah, and it also makes buying yarn so much more easy.
Well, and I think it makes people purchasing at markets, it makes it easier for them too. People think they want all of the choices, but when really struck with all of the choices, it's very overwhelming.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yes, you're right.
Do you have a favorite season?
Oh, fall. Fall.
I bet you get a good fall where you are with like colorful leaves and crisp temps.
Yes, we do. Like we have a nice wooded area behind our house, and it's like in the winter it's like Narnia with snow. In the fall is just absolutely beautiful. So fall is my favorite, hands down. And
Yes.
It's not too hot, not too cold. The crunchy leaves when you're walking, that crisp air. I love it. And just all
it has all the things. It has the visual, it has the feelings, it has the sounds.
Yes. The smell.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the most wonderful time of the
year.
What is your favorite item to make?
To make?
Yeah. Not to design, but to make. If there's something that you could make over and over again.
Oh,
Hats?
hat. But then sweaters are starting to slowly, once I've, you know, dabbled in the world of garment making, the sweaters are, especially if it's a quick one.
Hmm.
Yeah, but hands down hat.
Are you going to have a whole wardrobe of handmade sweaters here eventually?
You know what? Maybe. I already have some going. You know what? I don't wear them as often as I should. I should change that because if I'm making it, then I should wear it, right?
Mhm.
But slowly, for sure, I
The other great thing about wearing things you make is if you wear them out, you can remake them.
yes,
Like if you wear a sweater from a store and you wear it out, I mean, we're grown-ups, so it's not like you like my kids will like fall and like
oh yeah,
scrape a knee, the knee out of their pants, and then we can go back and buy the same pant. But when you're a grown-up and it takes you years to wear through a sweater, you
yeah,
can't go back and buy that sweater again. But if
that's
you
it.
made it, you can make it again.
You can remake it if you know where the pattern is.
If you know where the pattern is, that might be the problem.
If you can find the pattern exactly what you did with the first one.
Oh, let me tell you, this is why you need to make your projects on Ravelry and write down in there what you did differently,
That's true. That is true.
because you may want that later.
I should get better at that. Like adding projects to Ravelry, I should get better at that. I have my own way of doing it, but I mean, having it on Ravelry, I think just makes it centralizes things, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you can't like accidentally recycle Ravelry like I
Yeah,
might a pattern that I printed out.
exactly.
All right. Are you a book or a podcast person?
I'm a podcast person. I would
What's your
really
favorite podcast?
I listen to Dave Ramsey,
Oh,
and I know different people have different views about what he talks about, but Dave Ramsey, I love hearing about money. Yeah,
do you like to read at all?
I do, but
Yeah,
it wouldn't be my first choice.
yeah.
I haven't mastered knitting and reading.
I was gonna say, do you do
Yeah.
audiobooks at all?
Audiobooks, no. I just find
No.
it weird. Like if I'm gonna read, then I want to have the book and read. Like
Mhm.
even if it's on Kindle or whatever it's called and flip the pages electronically, I don't mind that. But I'd rather read a book than
Mhm.
listen to a book. Then I might as well just listen to a podcast.
It's true. That's
That's how
true.
I
Yeah.
feel.
I will say, if I don't know if you do this ever, but when we lived in Ohio, it was a 12-hour drive to my parents' house,
Oh wow,
which is very long.
it is.
But we found that listening to an audiobook while we drove,
Mm-hmm.
it was a game changer because you
Oh
were
really?
progressing through the story while you were progressing through your drive.
Okay.
It made
Like,
all the difference.
did it
I highly
matter
recommend.
what kind of books? Would it be like a
We
novel?
listened to all sorts of kind of books. The trickiest part there were three tricky parts to it. One, picking something we both wanted to listen to,
Right.
and two, maybe there were only two tricky parts. Picking something that if the kids happened to listen in
Ah,
on, it
gotcha.
wasn't like too like inappropriate for the children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, do you prefer a sweater or a cardigan?
Hmm. That's interesting.
Getting in the tough questions here now.
Yes. Um, I don't know. Maybe a sweater. I haven't tried many cardigans, but I plan to change that this year. Like I think I'm gonna buy one and actually make
Mm.
one. No, I have many patterns in cardigans. I just need to go through them and make one. I bought so many patterns. God knows. But
It's a
yeah.
whole separate hobby, the buying of the patterns.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yarn. We all know that. But for now, I think sweaters. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to your first cardigan.
Oh, I got some learning to do.
We're just making your first cardigan. We'll go with that first.
Yes, baby steps.
Baby steps. Absolutely. Absolutely. No pressure, but I expect to see a cardigan by December. No, I'm kidding. If you choose a snack, do you go for sweet or salty?
Oh, sweet. Sweet tooth all the way.
Do you have a particular type of sweet snack that's your favorite?
Oh, Kit Kat. Yep.
I love how happy you are when you say that.
Anything that has wafers and chocolate with it, I'm good.
That's good stuff. I love it. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say for this one. Which is worse, swatching or weaving in ends?
Oh, weaving in ends. Case in point. Another case in point. Oh no. I would rather swatch than weaving ends.
Yeah, if you live by Lanre and you're looking for a little side job, she needs an end weaver in her.
A weaver in her. Seriously.
Oh man, there are times when I've got a project that's got lots of ends and I'm like, I think I might be willing to pay someone to do this. I wonder if I could train my children to do this.
Nobody's gonna know. Just shove it on. Yeah.
Just pull my hat down and you're like pulling your hair and you're like, oh wait, that's yarn. Let's just stick that back up in there.
Nobody's gonna know.
It's fine. Just tuck it down.
How would they know? How would they know? If you don't tell them, they're not gonna know.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. We've been chatting for over an hour and it has been so much fun. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. It has been so much fun to learn more about you.
Thank you, Sarah.
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be talking soon. And go look at that gorgeous sweater on Lanray's Instagram. All the details are down below. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness. Another amazing chat. Isn't she just the best? Oh, I love her. I so enjoy spending this time with other makers. I hope you do too. If you would like to see more Meet the Makers, I've got several coming up very soon that I'm super excited for. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications, and then you'll know every time I post a new Meet the Maker video. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please be sure to check out the description below. I have links to all of Lanray's wonderful places you can find her and places you can find her patterns. And if you're interested, there's also a link to subscribe to my email list. I always keep you up to date on all of the latest things SEK Handmade. Thank you so much for joining me and happy crafting.